skim milk cappuccino, please. Thank you. All right, welcome back to the Fearless Training vlogs. It's been a while, but I'm back. And before I begin this video, I want to ask you to do a couple of things for me first. So I want you to do a couple of 4 things. If not, I want you to do all of them. That'd be ideal. The first thing I want you to do is subscribe to my channel. Why? Because if you're here, you're probably interested in looking good, feeling better, and improving your physique. So this channel is going to help you do that by me sharing with you real qualitative information, not only from myself, but from that of legitimate professionals within the physique and strength game. Next thing I want you to do is click that bell icon, so every time I drop a video, you get a notification so you don't miss anything. Also, I want you to go and share this with a friend, because let's face it, people with like minds usually hang around with people who are into the same shit. So I'm guessing that you probably hang around with other people who want to look good and lift too. So make sure you go and share it with them, because we're going to be dropping knowledge bombs and they don't want to miss out either. The third thing I want you to do is share the video, and the fourth is give it a like, especially if after you watched it, you like it. And I really appreciate that, because it helps the channel grow in all seriousness, and it helps me spread this better information and hopefully get rid of some of the miscommunication, because there's a lot of information out there and it's like confusing. Who do you listen to? How do you know to listen to? Well, to kind of segue into that, first of all, look at the person who's talking, and are they achieving, or have they achieved what you want to achieve? And also, are they doing it for other people? There's just 2 simple ways you can really gauge on, is this person full of shit, or is this person actually legit? Anyway, onto the video. You're here because you want to know how to look good, how to look jacked, how to look sexy all the time. Now, without me oversimplifying this, and at the same time not going into too much detail, there's a couple of facets we need to look at, because it's not just about one thing, as always, it's about multiple things over time that we need to do right. And just on a side note as well, as I'm talking through this video, I'm probably going to share clips of my current training. It's not in any rhyme, rhythm, or shape, and I'll talk about it more specifically as we go. And if you want to know more about my training, check out my Instagram as well, where I drop some more specific details of what I'm doing. And also on the regular too, hosting masterclasses here at EMF Robina in the Gold Coast of Australia. And for more information, you can find out on the website as well. Just shameless plugging myself there, but there's a lot coming and there's a lot of great information, and I want you guys to have it so you can save time, money, and frustration wherever you are in the world. Anyway, back to it. So looking good all the time requires you to tap into a certain amount of elements and make sure you gather a certain amount of consistency. So unfortunately, it's going to take a certain amount of time depending on where your physique is at. So let's look at the first thing. You need a certain amount of muscle mass, okay? If you are someone who doesn't have a lot of muscle mass, or you've got a very high body fat percentage, you're not going to look too jacked all the time at this point. However, if you start working towards building lean muscle mass and then reducing body fat levels, you're going to be on your way to having a better daily looking physique. Another thing we need to look at is food. The more consistent you are with your food, and when you find what you actually require congruent to your goals, when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about a deficit, a maintenance, or a surplus in calories, you're going to start to see a change in your physique, but you're also going to see a consistency. If you're constantly giving your body 1,000 calories, 2,000, 1,200, 3,000, it's not going to be looking the same usually every day. There's going to be a lot of fluctuation. So once you start giving the body what it requires at a minimum, and you're consistent over time, you're going to start to see some more consistency in the look of your physique. Also, you want to be looking at the food you eat as well. So if you're constantly changing your foods, and I'm not saying you can't have variety, because variety is great, but if you stick to the same key things, like for example, you might have oats for breakfast, you might have them in all different ways, you might add different berries, but the main ingredients are the same. You might have a rice dish for lunch, or a pasta, or whatever it might be, and then for dinner you might have some wraps, I don't know, you might have a burger, a salad, an omelette, whatever it is. You want to have some sort of consistency within, wholesome, healthy, qualitative food. Have a bit of flexibility, have a bit of fun, and what you'll find is you'll learn what foods work for you. And what I mean by that is there's no magic foods, but certain foods are just not going to agree with certain people. We're all slightly sensitive, we all have our thresholds, if you like. So you're going to find foods that when you eat them, not only do you feel good, but they react well with your body, and over time they help you achieve your goals, and you're going to start to look better day in and day out. We've also got water. Really simple stuff, guys, really simple stuff. A lot of people are not getting enough water. Start drinking a consistent amount This is going to come down to you. It's going to come down to your lifestyle. It's going to come down to your needs. It's going to come down to your climate, the size of your body, etc. But we are 80% water. We can't go a long time without it. Therefore, it's very, very important. So if we start to get our water levels right, congruent with our sodium as well, so salt is often demonized, but it's not a bad thing, especially if you're eating a really healthy nutrition regimen and you're not someone who eats a lot of processed foods. Fact is, you probably need to supplement with some good quality salt, and you can get that from your rock salt, your Himalayan salts, your minerals, etc. It'll also help you perform and transport the nutrients around the body a lot better too. So it's not a bad thing unless you're having excessive amounts, and that can be said the same for any typical food as well. So getting those things in line is really going to help. Now, if we look at training as well, if we're consistent in the gym, whether it's a 3-day-a-week split, whether it's a 6-day-a-week split, the more consistency we have over time, and we have that nice progressive overload, so we are accumulating more volume over time within our training, you're going to start to see your physique progress, but you're also going to see more consistency. You're going to look fuller, you're going to look harder, the muscles are going to pull in more glycogen stores, you're going to be able to assimilate more of that water and that sodium, and it's going to distribute around the body evenly. So all of these little things, pay attention to looking jacked, if you like, and looking good all year round. And the reason I'm addressing it is because it's a really common question we get, especially with now social media. You get a lot of people advertising this physique all the time, and sometimes it's not quite as you see it. There are a few people out there who do maintain a really lean physique, and some people who don't hold body fats in, for men, in the deposited areas around the stomach as much as some other people. We're all slightly different. But at the same time as well, you've got to realize that you might have a different goal. Your goal might be to get a lot bigger. Now, that doesn't mean you have to get fat, but you might not have that real dialed in, sharp stage conditioning. We've also got to factor in that other people might be using Photoshop, this, that, and the other. And that's all right, but what we've got to realize is you can look good all year round, but you're not necessarily going to look stage shredded. And that's not a bad thing, because stage shredded is actually super, super lean, and if you're there for a long period of time, it is not healthy. Now, most people don't really know what shredded looks like, so they see someone who has the abs out and they think they're shredded, and that's not shredded. Shredded is when you have lines in your gluteus maximus and your ass does not look like a bottom anymore. And I can tell you, when you're there, it is not fun. You're not going to be feeling great, you're not going to be optimal, you're going to lose your sex drive, etc. So it's better to stay on the higher end where you still look respectable, you're still going to look lean, and you're not going to lose or have any of those adverse effects that we get from a low energy intake and getting those negative things that are happening, the negative connotations that come with it, and not able to progress. And that's not where we want to be. It's a misconception put out there. So you can still look really good all year round, you can still progress, you can still have your mental clarity, and you can keep your bodily functioning healthy and performing right. Also, if you're fueling the body correctly with enough nutrients and you're progressively lifting intensely over time and intelligently, the body is going to burn through a lot of calories. It's going to require a lot of calories, and the more muscle you assimilate, the more calories you're going to require. So it's a win-win-win. So the more momentum and the more consistency that you can gain over time, really, the better your physique is going to look, especially when you have certain bouts of gaining, perhaps where you do get a little bit fluffy, and then perhaps periods of where you go into what we call a mini cut or a small dieting phase, or it's not something that's super, super long. So lining up all the ducks in this alignment and getting everything in line is really going to help you achieve that physique and that look that you want. And it is going to take some time depending on where you're at, but the more consistent you can be, the better. That is the takeaway from this video. Another thing to mention as well, and it's a bit ironic, is that the bigger you get and the more muscle you're able to accumulate, the leaner you can or may look. Because once again, if you have more muscle mass, you're going to require more calories, you're going to look more muscular in general, the skin, the way it sits on the muscle is going to look different, you're going to look harder, you're going to generally be able to have more carbohydrate storage in the body, that's going to make for a harder, bigger look. And if you're lifting more over time as well, the body's going to obviously adapt to that. You're going to have that nice muscular big thick look depending on the movements you use and if you train intelligently. So again, focusing on all of those key elements over time will give you that appearance that you look good or jacked all year round. And at the end of the day, it comes down to what you see in the mirror and what you like. But you have to have that expectation set. You need to understand that it's not healthy to be shredded, but shredded is actually probably a lot leaner than you think. I'm going to wrap it up here because I don't want to drag on. I don't want to keep those videos too long. I want to keep them between the 10 and 20 minute mark max. I'm going to start by talking about really popular topics and giving subjects around physique, slaying the misconceptions as usual, trying to provide good value and giving you an insight to my coaching, my training, and what I do based on, again, other talented professionals and what I've learned over the years from these peers and practitioners in the industry to better help you achieve a better physique. And we'll all do it in a fun, flexible, and enjoyable way. And we'll keep it that way. Because at the end of the day, if we're not having fun, we're doing it wrong. So until next time, guys, make sure you like the video, share the video around, subscribe for more regular updates. And until next time, as always, stay fearless.